Hello students, I am Arshad Jameel from Gravity classes. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic in chemistry. The name of the topic is chemical equilibrium. It's a very important topic from NEET point of view because 3 to 4 questions are coming from chemical equilibrium as well as ionic equilibrium, which is based on the concept of chemical equilibrium. So once you are very much clear on this topic, you can understand those things very nicely and then you can attempt those questions very easily. Because in NEET exams, the questions which are coming is tricky. The only thing is that you should be able to understand the logic very clearly. So let's start today. The name of the topic is chemical equilibrium. So before starting the topic of chemical equilibrium, you should know what is a chemical reaction. Chemical reactions, if you understand the terms of chemical reactions, then it will be easier for you to go into a more deeper and deeper. Any change in the chemical changes, any change in the reactant as well as in the product side is known as chemical reactions. Say for example, this is our reactant. It is being converted into product. If there is any chemical change, then we will call it as a chemical reactions. Various types of chemical reactions are there and you have to study those reactions very briefly so that whenever questions are coming, you must be able to identify whether it is a homogeneous type of reaction, heterogeneous type of reaction, whether it is a slow reaction, whether it is a fast reaction, because the topic of chemical equilibrium is totally based on reversible reactions. We will be discussing those reactions which are reversible in nature. Okay, so chemical reactions can be categorized into various parts. What are those parts? What are those aspects? We should be able to know them. Okay, on the basis of physical state, the chemical reactions can be categorized into two parts. Number one, homogeneous reactions. As this term homo, it means that the phases are same in both the reactants as well as in the products. That's why we are giving the name homogeneous reaction, because the reactant and the product, they are in the same phase. You know the phase, whether it is solid, liquid or gas, it should be in the same phase in the case of homogeneous reactions. The other type of reaction is heterogeneous reaction. Hetero means different, not same. They may be in different phase. The reactant may be in the solid phase. The product may be in the liquid phase. The reactant can be in the gaseous phase. The product may be in the liquid or solid phase. It depends on the type of the chemical reagents we are using. So in homogeneous reactions, what we are understanding? The phases should be same. Okay, H2 plus O2. H2 exists in gaseous phase. Oxygen exists in gaseous phase. What we are getting the product? We are getting the product 2H2O and water. If we are taking only one water is in the liquid phase. So what type of reactions you will go to call these type of reactions? These type of reactions you will call as heterogeneous reactions. Why heterogeneous reactions? Because the phases are different. If the phases are same, then you will call as homogeneous reactions. I am giving an example of homogeneous reactions. Do not worry at all. For homogeneous reactions, see, N2 plus H2 give rise to 2NH3. N2 exists in gaseous phase, hydrogen exists in gaseous phase, ammonia exists in gaseous phase. So these type of reactions we can call as homogeneous reactions in which the reactant and the product exist in the same phase. On the basis of physical appearances, we can distinguish chemical reactions. We can categorize chemical reactions into two parts. One is homogeneous, another is heterogeneous. Are you very much clear, students, what I am speaking to you? Or you are having any doubt in this case? Okay. The other aspects on which we are going to decide what type of reaction this is. So the other aspect is on the basis of speed. On the basis of speed, the reactions can again be categorized into two types. One is fast reaction, another is slow reaction. Fast reaction and slow reaction. Fast reactions generally you will find in ionic reactions. Ionics, you understand the terms ionic reactions, where the cations and anions they take part and they react together. So these type of reactions we call as fast reactions, where the ionic mechanisms is working. Those type of reaction we call it as fast reactions. Rate determination of this type of reaction is not possible. Okay. Regarding rate determinations, you will study this topic more elaborately when you will study the chapter called chemical kinetics. Okay. In fast reactions, you will generally find this type of reactions in ionic reaction. These are fast type of reactions. Okay. You need an example from me? Okay. I am beginning. Okay, sodium chloride when reacts with water. Okay, when sodium chloride is reacting with water, so you are going to get Na plus ion, Cl minus ion, H plus ion and OH minus ion. Okay, so Na plus it is going to combine with OH and the product will be NaCOH plus HCl. Okay, this is the example of fast reactions. Okay, when we are talking about slow reaction means we can identify the speed of the reactions. We can determine the rate of the reaction, because the rate of the reaction is always possible in a slow type of reactions. You cannot determine the rate in a fast reactions. And slow reactions generally you will find in molecular type of reactions. Molecular type of reactions you will find slow reactions. Okay? Slow reactions. Okay? Slow reactions. H2 plus I2 give rise to 2HI. Okay, this is a type of slow reaction. Okay, although this is a reversible reactions where chemical equilibrium is attained. Next, another type of reactions on which you can classify on the basis of heat. On the basis of heat also you can classify the reactions into two types. Okay, another aspect is on the basis of heat. See students, whenever the term heat is coming, the word you will find for this is thermal. Okay. In thermal, wherever the term thermal comes, you should know that it is talking about heat. Okay. It is scientific language, so it is called as thermal. Okay. So on the basis of heat, two types of reaction is possible. One is exothermic reaction and another is endothermic reaction. As the name itself suggests, exo means heat is evolved. Heat is evolved from the reaction. Those type of reactions in which heat is evolved, we call those type of reaction as exothermic reaction. Okay? Endothermic reaction means heat is absorbed. Those type of reactions in which heat is absorbed, we call those type of reaction as endothermic reactions. Say for example, this is your reactant. It gives you product. When it is exothermic reaction, heat is evolved. Say for example, we get X kilocalorie of heat. So, unit of heat you know. Either we can write kilocalorie, calorie, joule according to your convenience. But generally, we use kilocalorie as a unit of heat. So, whenever exothermic reaction, it comes, heat is evolved from the reaction. Whenever heat is evolved, the change in enthalpy will be positive or negative? Tell. The change in enthalpy will be always negative for exothermic reactions. That's why we will write del H is equal to negative for exothermic reaction. Just the opposite for it in endothermic reaction. Heat is absorbed in endothermic reaction. So what we are going to get? We are going to get, this is our reactant, we are going to get a product. But heat is evolved, that's why we will write minus X kilocalorie. Okay, minus X kilocalorie. So the change in enthalpy for endothermic reaction would be positive in nature. Okay. Shall I rub it? Okay. These things are very conceptual and very basic things. Since you are starting from the root level, so I am trying to explain bit by bit so that it becomes easier for you. Whenever this term is going to come, you will not be able to confuse yourself. Okay? Already very much clear. Okay? Another very important topic in this is on the basis of direction. This is my intention. This is my topic. On the basis of this only, we are going to study this chapter of chemical equilibrium. Okay. So, on the basis of direction, sir, what do you mean by direction? East, west, north or south you are talking about? No, I am not talking about geography. I am talking chemistry. The direction may be reversible or irreversible. So we are not getting what is reversible, what is irreversible. Okay, it's very simple. On the basis of directions, chemical reactions can be categorized into two parts. One is reversible reactions and another is irreversible reaction. What is meaning of reversible? What is meaning of irreversible? You are very irreversible. Very soon you are going to get clear-cut crystal on this topic. Reversible reaction. Very simple. From the product, we can get the reactant. That type of reaction is called as reversible reaction. Very simple. Here it is reactant, here it is product. Those type of reactions in which we can get the product from the reactant, vice versa. That means it is also possible to get reactant from the product. So this type of reaction is called reversible reactions. In reversible reactions, generally forward reaction occurs as well as backward reactions occur. So in reversible reactions we are not using this type of arrow. We are using this type of arrow because it is possible for us to get the reactant from the product as well as product from the reactant. Can you cite some example of this? Yes, why not? Sure. Again, nitrogen plus hydrogen give rise to ammonia. Okay. N2 plus 3H2 give rise to 2 moles of ammonia. So this is called as forward reaction. And this is called as backward reaction. In forward reactions, we are getting product from the reactant. In backward reaction, we are getting reactant from the product. Okay? So when the reaction is going to start, the initial concentration of the product will be 0. So there will be maximum forward reaction. So we call rate of forward reaction will be maximum in the initial phases. But if the reaction has taken place for some times and then the backward reactions comes into picture. So the backward reaction we write as rate of backward reactions, RB. Okay. When the rate of forward reaction becomes equal to rate of backward reaction, we call that point as chemical equilibrium. That means the reagent has attained equilibrium. So how the graph will look like for a reversible reaction? This is the graph. Here we are writing rate on the y-axis and time on x-axis. So what we are going to get? This is our forward reaction, this is our backward reaction, and this is the point they have come together where rate of forward is equal to rate of backward. This point we call it as chemical equilibrium. Okay. From here onwards, you are going to get a straight line. There is no slope in the graph. And this is the time which is required. Time for attaining equilibrium. A lot more is there to discuss in the topic, but due to shortage of time I cannot discuss it in a more elaborate manner. Okay, this is the time in which we are attaining equilibrium. This is the time in which we are attaining equilibrium. So how we are going to attain? This is the rate of forward reaction. We call it as RF, and this you can call it as RB. Okay. So when RF is equal to RB, we call it as chemical equilibrium. Okay. So there are some points which you should know in chemical equilibrium. First, the chemical equilibrium is dynamic in nature. Once the chemical reaction attains equilibrium, you will feel that there is no more reactions taking place, but the fact is that the reaction is taking place. Okay, but we are not able to identify it. Okay, when chemical equilibrium is attained, there will be no change in the number of moles per unit time. no change per unit times. No effect of catalyst. Catalyst will not speed or enhance the rate of the reaction. Catalyst. The effect of catalyst will be only here. This is the effect of positive catalyst. Positive catalyst will make the effect here. That means it will enhance the rate of the reaction in the initial phases. But once the equilibrium is attained, no role of catalyst. Catalyst role finished. Okay? Catalyst cannot increase the rate of the reactions now. Whenever chemical equilibrium is attained. Okay? So, this is all about reversible reaction. Okay? Irreversible reaction, those type of reactions which is unidirectional. That is, they follow a simple path. Lot of examples are there. H2 plus O2 give rise to H2O. Okay. AgNO3 plus HCl give rise to AgCl plus HNO3. Lot more examples are there where you can know whether this type of reaction is reversible or irreversible. The main distinguishing factors in reversible and irreversible reaction are that from the reactant, if you are able to get the product, as well as from the product you are able to get the reactant, then this type of reaction is called as reversible reaction. And irreversible reactions are those type of reactions in which we are not able to get the reactant back from the product. Okay, so these two things you can be able to distinguish easily. Okay, next we are going to discuss rate of the reaction. Rate of the reactions means, what do you mean by rate of reaction? Rate of the reaction is very easy. Okay, due to shortage of time, we will conclude here. Inshallah, hope so you like the video. Assalamu alaikum.